Good afternoon, everyone. In today's video, we are looking more at newly formed Tropical Depression 3 in the Atlantic, which is now expected to form into a tropical storm, even a hurricane, as it nears closer towards the Caribbean. As you can see, satellite imagery from this afternoon, we have quite a bit of convection around the center of this storm. It is now a tropical depression, very close to a tropical storm. As of this afternoon, I would expect tropical storm to be named later this evening, as it is looking quite healthy as of right now. Looking at the 7-day graphical tropical weather look, as you can see, we have Tropical Depression 3 right now. Now looking at the National Hurricane Center, as you can see, we have Tropical Depression 3 currently in the Atlantic, in between Lesser Antilles and the Cabo Verde Islands. We also have a newly formed disturbance, which has a 50% chance of cyclone formation within 7 days. We're also gonna have to watch that as well, but that looks to be more of turning out to be a fish storm rather than Tropical Depression 3, which Tropical Depression 3 currently has maximum sustained winds of 30 knots or 35 miles per hour, a minimum central pressure of 1009 millibars, located at 11.0 north, 40.3 west, and movement is west at 21 miles per hour. Looking at the latest forecast cone, as you can see, it is expected to form into a tropical storm sometime today and going throughout 8 a.m. Wednesday as a tropical storm as it approaches the Lesser Antilles Islands. By 8 p.m. Wednesday, the National Hurricane Center is expecting it to be forming into a hurricane, making landfall as a hurricane on portions of the Lesser Antilles. Still as a hurricane approaching the Puerto Rico area in Dominican Republic around 8 a.m. Saturday. So throughout this entire week, we're going to be tracking Tropical Depression 3, soon to be Tropical Storm Bret this evening. I do expect tropical storm watches, maybe even some hurricane watches, to be issued by Wednesday. Here's your earliest reasonable arrival time of tropical storm force winds by 8 p.m. of Wednesday. By 8 p.m. on Wednesday, you're going to start feeling those effects on the Antilles. By 8 p.m. Wednesday, you're going to start feeling those effects of those tropical storm conditions for the Lesser Antilles. By Thursday of 8 a.m., you're going to start feeling those landfall conditions as it makes its way across the Lesser Antilles. Puerto Rico, you're going to start feeling those tropical storm force winds late Thursday night. Now look at some of these key messages. For Tropical Depression 3 from Advisory 1 from this morning. As you can see, the depression is forecast to strengthen and move across the Lesser Antilles as a hurricane on Thursday and Friday, bringing a risk of flooding from heavy rainfall, hurricane force winds, and dangerous storm surge and waves. Given large and unusual uncertainty in the track forecast, it is too early to specify the location and magnitude of where these hazards could occur. However, everyone in the Lesser Antilles, Puerto Rico, and the Virgin Islands should closely monitor updates to the forecast for this system and have the hurricane plan in place. Look at the latest model intensity guidance, and as you can see, it's not looking good for the Caribbean here, as a lot of these models here are trending up into a category 1 hurricane by hour 60. That's less than 3 days out from now, so this is going to be expected to quickly form into a hurricane. Some of these even strengthening into a category 2 hurricane, even a major hurricane in later stages. So I'm going to make sure to keep you as much updated as possible as we get more updates here. I'll have a community post out late tonight as well, keeping you updated on the potential timing on this and the potential strength that this could be making landfall as. And looking at the latest spaghetti models, most of these have it going into the Lesser Antilles, with it making as far as Haiti, and even Cuba could see some of this. But like we saw yesterday, we are continuing to see a big area of wind shear across the Caribbean, which will weaken it. And I don't expect it to make it far as the Gulf of Mexico. Look at the GFS ensembles, and it now has pretty much agreeing with the global hurricane models, It has it going through the Caribbean and then turning upwards to the north as it reaches the Cuba and Haiti area. It's going to be interesting to watch this, and throughout the next few days, we're still going to continue to get these updates on where this is going to go after it goes to the Lesser Antilles. Pretty much anyone in the Caribbean here should be getting prepared now before it's too late, because this definitely could be quite a damaging hurricane as it heads through the Caribbean later this week. Looking at GPS tracks, and as you can see, looking at this, after the Lesser Antilles, this expects this storm to actually go towards Central America. So once again, this is another scenario that this model is putting out where Central America could potentially see a tropical storm here in late June, and that's going to be 144 hours out from now. So that's once again another scenario later throughout the stages of this storm that we're going to have to watch closely as this progresses throughout the Caribbean. Looking at the latest shear values for Tropical Depression 3, and this is the low pressure system right there. So that's the center of the storm. You can see the cone here highlighted in the yellow. You see that middle line there of how it progresses. So looking at these shear values, we're mainly seeing a lot of unfavorable shear north of this, with a lot of favorable shear protecting the thunderstorm activity currently inside this thunderstorm. It's going to be headed through some neutral shear, so it's not going to have a very hard time at all making through to making impacts on the Lesser Antilles Islands, which is why we are concerned that this will be forming into a Category 1 hurricane as it progresses into the Caribbean Ocean. Now looking at the wider scale view of the wind shear as it heads throughout the Lesser Antilles, this is not going to be weakening much at all. But as you can see here, like I was talking about yesterday, we do have a big area of unfavorable shear values that's going to linger across the Caribbean, and that's going to prevent it from going into a rapid intensification cycle throughout the Caribbean south of Cuba and Haiti. Luckily, so it won't turn into a stronger hurricane as it goes either northward or into the Central America area. If it does decide to go northward, it will have the potential to getting stronger, but then it won't make much land contact or anything concerned. If it turns northward, it is Bermuda, but that's pretty much it. If it decides to go throughout the Caribbean and head northwestward towards the Gulf of Mexico, that will pretty much tear it apart, and we won't see much from that. If it decides to go to Central America, it'll get teared apart into more of a weaker tropical storm and make impacts on Central America. So that's pretty much the three scenarios we're looking at right now from the latest updates from these computer models. If you did enjoy the video and want more updates, be sure to subscribe to the channel. If you want to turn post notifications, you won't miss a single update or live stream on upcoming Tropical Storm Bret. Make sure to share this video with any friends or family that may be impacted and want more information on Tropical Storm Bret. As always, I'll see you in the next one. Stay safe.